What's up, guys? I'm JJ,
I'm Javier.
and this is PM Football. We are at the Combine Week, and with the draft process going around and everything, we thought it'd be a good time to look back at the draft from last year and redraft it. So with that being said, today we are going to redraft the 2025 NFL Draft.
Yep, we are going to alternate picks. I have odds, you have evens. We don't really know who each other are going to pick with this draft, so there may be some delays, there may be some hesitation. There's definitely going to be discussion, but I'm excited to do this.
Yep. All right. With that being said, take over for number one.
Yep, with the first overall pick, I think the Tennessee Titans should stick with Cam Ward. He still has very high upside. I was actually a fan of his during the season and before the season, so I think this is the right pick and this should remain the pick. Cam Ward stays in Tennessee.
Yeah, I agree. That pick should definitely stay the same. Moving on to number two. This pick was previously owned by the Browns on draft night. The Jaguars traded up to number two to select Travis Hunter. I'm going to keep that pick the same. I'm going to have them taking Travis Hunter again. We kind of talked about this a little bit before we started filming. Was Travis Hunter the second best player in the draft? No, not by any means after one season. But when you are a team like the Jaguars that traded up all that capital to go up to number two, you still got to take Travis Hunter. He's a guy that has the most upside out of all the players on the board. Maybe you could argue an Abdul Carter, but Travis Hunter has the elite skill set to become an elite corner one day. That's their plan going into this season, they said, is to solely play him at corner and seldomly play him at receiver every once in a while. They got to stick to that plan, because if not, you see what happens, the injury, and if that's not the plan, it's going to be a mistake.
Literally everything that has happened with Travis Hunter so far, I said was going to happen. I always thought he was a way better. I wouldn't say way better, but to me, he was obviously the better corner than a receiver. Not saying he was a bad receiver by any means, but to me, he was clearly a better corner, had intangibles to be possibly an elite corner. I don't know why it took them this long to see that, and I don't know why they played him as often as they did. As a rookie, and especially with his frame, you're not going to last in the NFL like that. Shame on them for not being wiser about that. I'm happy that it finally looks like they're going to change and have some common sense now. But I also agree that, like, if you were to trade up to number two, like, it's kind of difficult on who you would pick. I don't know if I would have gone with Travis Hunter, but I also don't know who I would have picked other than him. Yeah. So can't really hate on it too much. At three, it's the New York Giants. I think you have to take your quarterback here. It's just which one. To me, I think arguably the best quarterback this year for the rookies was Tyler Shough. I'm going to take him with the third overall pick here to the Giants. I think he's a better quarterback than Jackson Dart. I think if I had to choose between the two on who I would want to lead my team for the future, I think Tyler Shough overall showed he is the more reliable quarterback. Therefore, I'm going to go with him.
Yeah, we could argue about this all day. I'll just say that I disagree with you. I would have picked Jackson Dart. I don't want to get into it because we would sit here for 10 minutes arguing about it. But I don't agree with the pick. I would have picked Jackson Dart. Moving on to number four, the New England Patriots originally drafted Will Campbell with their first overall pick at number four. Not a terrible pick. Had a good rookie season. Then the playoffs hit, and it was just, he hit a wall. And you could see that the arm length was an issue, which who would have figured that the guy with short arms at offensive tackle would have a problem?
I said from the beginning, he's a guard. Yeah. Like, he had the body and skill sets of a guard. Don't get me wrong, like, I'm not saying he was a terrible tackle. He definitely played terrible at the Super Bowl, but he wasn't necessarily a terrible tackle, but he's just more clearly a guard than a tackle.
100%. And with that being said, I'm going to change the pick to a guy that had one of the best offensive lineman rookie seasons I've seen in a long time, Armand Membou. He is a right tackle, so you are going to have to make a little bit of adjustment. Maybe that means move over Morgan Moses to left tackle. Maybe Morgan it means right tackle. Move Moses over to left tackle, or you try out Membou at left tackle and see where it goes. But after one season of play, Membu was the better player, and with a team that needs line, I'm going to take the guy that's the better lineman. And maybe he would have given you a better chance in the Super Bowl. Who knows?
No, I love that pick. I love Armand Membu. He's such a great talent. Yeah, I agree with that pick there. At number 5, we have the Cleveland Browns. They took Mason Graham originally. I wasn't too high on Mason Graham before.
You were not at all.
Yeah, I wasn't high on Mason Graham before the draft. I think he did better than I had expected him to, but I still wouldn't say like he blew anyone's socks away necessarily. I think you get a much needed weapon here. Whoever they decide to go with at quarterback for the year that just happened and for future years to come, whoever the quarterback is needs a reliable target, and I think the perfect answer for that is Ted McMillan. He had a phenomenal year. He was my wide receiver 1, I believe. I want to say he was my wide receiver 1 throughout the draft process, and I mean, he had a great year. There's really not much else to say. He was phenomenal this year. I think this would be a great pick for Cleveland.
Yeah, no, I really like that pick. I think not addressing line would become an issue, which is going to be an issue this offseason. They're literally losing every single starting offensive lineman.
I did see that like last week or this week that literally all 5 starters are not under contract, which is crazy.
They do not have a quarterback at this point. Shador, and they haven't even taken Dylan Gabriel yet. But T-Mac had an outstanding an outstanding rookie season. He won Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
Pretty much unanimously, I think.
Pretty close, if not unanimously.
Yeah. But no, I mean, you get a weapon like that with the Browns. It sets up the quarterback that you're going to bring in even better. Moving on to number 6, we have the Vegas Raiders. They drafted Ashton Jeanty. Ashton Jeanty, I'm sorry to spoil anything for anybody, will not be touching the top 20 picks. I don't think, at least. No. With this pick, I'm going to have them taking Kelvin Banks, offensive tackle out of Texas. He played really, really well for the Saints this year. I don't know how that dude slid all the way to, I think 11 was where he went, or 9. I think it was 9 to the Saints.
Banks, to 9.
He slid all the way to 9. He should have been a top 7, top 6 pick. We have him here going 6. I know you can question whether or not they should take a chance on a quarterback here like Jackson Dart after the season Geno Smith showed. But, I mean, maybe you give him another offensive lineman in there. Maybe he wouldn't have played as bad. I still would not put I wouldn't put all my chips into the middle of the table that Geno Smith's the future quarterback for me or anything. But
No.
I don't know if Jackson Dart would be the right pick at this point, especially with Kelvin Banks on the board.
Yeah, no, I agree with everything you said. Like taking Jackson Dart, I don't know if that solves too much. I think taking an O lineman here definitely solves more, especially with arguably the worst O line in the league last year.
Yeah.
At 7, it's the New York Jets. They took Armand Membu, who ends up going 4 to the Patriots. Again, we're on the spot here. Like, I have not thought of this prior. First thing that's coming to my head with the Jets, obviously they desperately need a quarterback. And I think that's the direction I'm going to go here. I have the Jets drafting Jackson Dart out of Ole Miss. I know you said we had a discussion about Shuck and Dart, and obviously I think Shuck is better, but that's not because I think Dart's trash. I think he showed a lot of promise. I think he showed a lot of flashes. Do I think he is necessarily for the answer for the Giants today? Not necessarily, but I also don't think he is straight up trash or a straight up bust. I think there's definitely something to hang on to there with him, so I'm taking him here at 7 for the Jets.
I was really worried you weren't going to take him, and I was looking at the teams that were coming up next, and I'm thinking, well, the Panthers, all my evens, I'm like, I'm not going to take him, so maybe Jackson Dart's going to fall all the way down this board, and he shouldn't. I'm glad you took him there. Again, I'm not saying that I'm a huge Jackson Dart fan or anything. I think he was... Statistically, no, he wasn't better than Shuck. I think he showed more flashes, has more upside, has more of the explosive playability, and it's just going to come down to whether or not he can stay healthy. And I know you have a huge question mark next to that.
Yes. As everyone should, if I'm being honest.
Yes, you should for sure. But, I mean, if you're going to survive in this league, you're going to have to stop. And I mean, you can say all you want that he said he's not going to do it.
He literally said he wasn't going to.
But he's going to have to. Like, it's not even like a question. Like, he's going to have to.
I agree with you. Absolutely, you have to. I'm not disputing that at all. But it is you should raise your eyebrow when you're supposed to be franchise quarterback who is consistently gets hurt, and is asked, "Are you gonna change anything about you getting hurt, or you go try to avoid that?" And he straight up says, "I've gotten here this far with the way I played. I'm gonna continue to play the way I play."
No, that's definitely concerning.
Hey, dude, that's not the right answer. I'm sorry, that's not the right answer.
I don't know if Harbaugh is going to let that slide. We shall see, though.
And guess what? That's fine.
We shall see.
I agree. He's not supposed to. At the end of the day, he controls his own body.
Yeah.
He decides whether or not he listens or not.
Fair.
So, yeah.
Fair. Moving on to pick number 8, the Carolina Panthers selected Tetairoa McMillan. He is gone. I think you took him at number 5 to the Browns.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to pivot a little bit. I'm going to stick with a weapon. I'm going to have them selecting Emeka Egbuka, a guy that went in their division to the Bucs at 19 in the actual draft. I think that would be a great pickup for them. It was a pretty tight race the whole season until probably week 14 when Mike Evans and Chris Godwin really got things going. And even Jalen McMillan, who came back from injury, really they all showed flashes. So he was kind of push down the board or target board a little bit just because you have so many mouths to feed in that offense. But he was still an outstanding player for them. The Panthers replaced the guy that they're losing who they originally drafted. I think it's a seamless fit. I know they play a little bit of a different style of receiver, but having a guy that you know is going to be a reliable pass catcher, there's not much more you can ask for in a player like that.
No, that's a great pick, and that's exactly where I've gone here. Yeah. So I fully agree with that. Number 9, the New Orleans Saints. They had Kelvin Banks. He gets drafted at 6 to the Raiders. I think they stick with O-line here, and I think they draft Will Campbell. Again, I think he's much more suited as a guard. Even if you want him to play tackle for the rookie year, but just know in the long run that is your guard. Yes, it was a rough Super Bowl for him, but throughout the season, he showed a lot of positives.
Yeah.
And I don't think we should ignore that because of a bad Super Bowl. And yeah, he had some bad plays throughout the season as well, but I think overwhelmingly it was positive for him.
Yeah. Again, when I was talking about the Patriots pick at 4 and switched it to Membu, I'm not trying to hate on Will Campbell at all. I still think he's a really good player. Do I think he's playing out of position? Yes. But that doesn't defeat the fact that I think he is a good offensive lineman. I just think he'd be an elite offensive lineman if he was playing guard. Moving on to number 10, the Chicago Bears originally drafted Colston Loveland, kind of the surprise for the first night.
Yeah. Outside, no, I'll let you finish.
He just went a lot higher than people.
I agree. Expecting. It was a surprise for sure.
But I'm also going to have them taking a tight end, but I'm going to Tyler Warren. I know Colston Loveland really showed flashes down the stretch. He showed flashes throughout the entire season. I just think, all in all, Tyler Warren is the better tight end. I think he's a better blocker. He's more of the complete tight end, I would say. I know that they already have a Cole Kmet in there who kind of does all the dirty work for them and just kind of use Loveland as that pseudo slot tight end type thing that people are trying to replicate now with who Gronk used to be. You can't do that anymore. But, I mean, Colston Loveland really did play good. I just think Tyler Warren is the better tight end, and Bears fans can hate me all they want because I know how much you guys like Colston Loveland. No hate to Colston Loveland at all. I just think Tyler Warren's a little better.
You have back-to-back picks where that's exactly where I will have gone. I think Tyler Warren, if they were to go tight end, it should have been Tyler Warren, in my opinion, when it first happened. I agree it was a bit of a surprise when they said Colston Loveland. But yeah, no, this is the correct pick. It should be Tyler Warren.
100%.
Moving on to 11, we have the San Francisco 49ers. They took Michael Williams. Unfortunate with him tearing his ACL. I was a big fan of his throughout the draft process. But I'm going to have them sticking at edge here. What do you know? Abdul Carter fell all the way to 11. Abdul Carter gets drafted by the San Francisco 49ers at 11. did not quite have the rookie season that I thought he would have, or a lot of people thought he would have, but still showed a lot of flashes there. Still showed dominance and crazy athleticism at times. I think the upside is still massive for him. I think this would be a great pick at 11.
It is an incredible value pick, especially after the guy who went number 3, falling all the way to 11, who didn't even have a bad year. The problem with him is I just don't think he got as much exposure as he should have had. He was playing behind a Kayvon Thibodeau and Brian Burns, who are 2 really good pass rushers in the league, and there's just, again, kind of similar to how Emeka Egbuka at the end of last year kind of worked. There was too many mouths to feed. He was a great situational pass rusher. He was really, really showing flashes on special teams. He was, that you were having your first overall pick playing special teams for you. That's how good your defensive line was, that you didn't even have him playing where he should be playing most of the time. But if he went to the Niners, oh man,
yeah, that would be crazy. They already consistently have a great defense. You add Abdul Carter there, that's insane.
Especially, knock on wood, like if the Nick Bosa injury just never happened and you had Abdul Carter and Nick Bosa, they would have been a team to reckon with. They might have made a pretty deep run, even deeper than they already made this year.
Yeah.
Moving on to number 12, the Dallas Cowboys originally selected Tyler Booker. Thought it was a great pick. I was a huge fan of Tyler Booker. I'm going to have them pivot a little bit, and I'm going to have them selecting Carson Schlesinger, linebacker out of UCLA, who was drafted in the 2nd round. I think the first pick in the 2nd round by the Browns. That dude's just a football player. Yeah. He is an instinctual linebacker that has good coverage skills, just flies around the field. I remember a lot of the time during the end of the draft process towards last year that the Commanders were getting a bunch of talk about Carson Schlesinger, and you were totally against it and did not want to even think about that being a possibility. Yep. He turned out to be a dog. Was it a Jim Schwartz thing where he just knew exactly what type of linebacker he wanted and just created a dog? Maybe, but I think with the football that he put on tape last year, if you're the Cowboys who need a linebacker desperately, you can't pass up on a guy like this, who I think potentially has all-pro potential.
Yeah, no, for sure. He had a great rookie year. I think this would be a great fit for a defense that desperately needs defensive help, especially at linebacker.
Yeah.
At number 13, we have the Miami Dolphins. A lot of different places they could go here. They drafted Kenneth Grant out of Michigan, the D tackle.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think, out of the D tackles that are available, I don't know if I'm comfortable taking one at 13.
Who, again, during the draft, kind of a reach.
Yes, I already wasn't a Kenneth Grant guy.
You were not at all.
Yeah, no. So I'm thinking DB here. I'm thinking as of now, I'm leaning either towards Will Johnson, corner of Michigan, or maybe even a Nick Emenwari and Xavier Watts. At this point, it's just preference. At this point, it's what do you think they need more? I was a huge Will Johnson guy throughout the draft process. I'm a huge Will Johnson guy during the season. I think he has an opportunity and the skills to be a shutdown corner in this league. I'm going to make Will Johnson go to the Miami Dolphins here at 13. He's just such a smart corner. Like, I know he's not going to blow you away with his speed or athleticism necessarily, but he hangs in there with NFL receivers. Mm-hmm. Like, he's not slow like some people say he is. He is a better athlete than what a lot of people are giving him credit for, and he's very smart. Again, I think he has a chance to be a shutdown corner here, and that's something the Dolphins desperately need.
When you're looking for a corner in the NFL at this level, hips are the biggest thing.
Yes.
He has great hips.
Yes.
And he's sticky. He is a super sticky corner. I love that pick for the Dolphins. I would hate to go against Will Johnson twice a year as a Bills fan.
Yeah.
I was a huge fan throughout the process. Again, they stick with a Michigan player.
Yeah, they do. Just the better one.
I think they got the better one, 100%.
Yeah, for sure.
Moving on to number 14, the Indianapolis Colts selected Tyler Warren, who unfortunately for them is gone. So I'm just going to have them flipping picks. I'm going to have them taking Colson Loveland. Again, similarly to how I was talking about Tyler Warren at 10 of the Bears, they are different stylistically types of tight ends. Now, is that necessarily a bad thing? No, but I think with the way that the Colts play offense, it could get a little bit tricky just because you're going to want your tight end in the line with Jonathan Taylor and you're going to want to pound the rock. Is that necessarily what Colson Loveland does best? No. But I think just the dynamicism, is that even a word? I'm going to make that a word.
We'll make it a word, yeah.
That he has as a tight end and as the receiving threat that he is, that would just be an excellent ad for them. You lose out on Tyler Warren, but you gain Colson Loveland, who honestly might be the better receiver. I think Warren's the better complete tight end, but as the receiver threat, Loveland can get open and has
had,
great
especially
hands.
as the year went on.
Yeah,
really
that playoff
became more
run,
comfortable in his position. 100%. Sure.
I also want to just add, I considered Harold Fannin.
Yeah,
I think with how good Loveland looked at the second half of the season, I gave the edge to Loveland a little bit more.
Yeah, no, that's exactly where I would have gone as well. I would have swapped those picks. Loveland has huge upside with that size and speed, his ability as a receiver. I think that's a great pick for the Colts. Atlanta here at 15. I'm going to make them stick with their pick, except it's not their first round pick.
Nope, you can't do that.
Yes, I can.
He's never going to play football again.
Oh, I wasn't even going there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I wasn't even going there.
Never mind.
Which, that's a different discussion.
I thought for sure you were going the James Pierce route.
I mean, I'm going to be honest.
Would you have? Yes.
I'm going to be honest.
I think you would have been a top 10 pick.
I'm going to be honest. For whatever reason, it just oh no, wait, I thought it restarted for me. Apologies. I'm going to be honest, for whatever reason, his name did not enter my mind until you said no, he's not going to play football. And I was like, oh, I forgot about him. I'm a big pre-controversy James Pierce guy. I was from the beginning. Super talented. I'm happy you said that. If it wasn't for what recently happened.
Yeah, because I was going to preface by saying I took him off the board. Like, I don't think at this point in time he's even drafted.
For clarification, are we... Yeah, because it's hindsight's 2020 now.
I'm not... He's not on the board.
He's so talented. All right, do you... And I don't... No. I should stop speaking about this.
No, he's not getting picked.
I will just say I do not know all the facts. All I know is from what information has came out that I have read. Very bad situation.
There's video.
Yes, very bad situation. Yeah, awful situation. He did a very awful thing.
Who are you picking?
I will say though, the NFL has let people play for much worse. So maybe he'll play again. I don't know, and I'll leave it at that.
But we, as civil people, will not allow it.
Yes, agreed.
Not allowed.
So are we agreeing James Pierce
He's off the board. He was off my board.
I'm okay with that.
It's just funny that you didn't even think about it.
Yeah, honestly, it even entered my mind, and especially me being, again, before the controversy, as big of a fan talent-wise as I was, that he'd even enter my mind.
And he'd probably be this pick. I'm not gonna lie.
Or maybe even sooner.
Yeah, that's
honestly.
what I mean. Yeah.
But no, I was originally talking about Xavier Watts. That was really my the guy I was originally talking about.
Wow, over Eamon Warry.
Yeah, I think part of me that's taking Xavier Watts here is that he's already in Atlanta, so it's obviously a great fit there, and he's a tremendous talent. If you want to go Eamon Warrior here, sure, I don't blame you. Like, amazing talent as well. I think since he's already on the Falcons and he fits in well there, gels well, like, could honestly be a staple of that defense for years to come, I think I'm going to stick with Xavier Watts here.
Yeah, well, this is going to change. I don't hate that pick at all. I personally would have gone Eamon Warrior. I just think he's a little bit better safety. I think Watts is the better coverage guy 100%, and it's going to get you a bunch of picks, and I don't hate keeping the familiarity there with him. But with that being said, I'm moving on to pick number 16 now, and this is going to change my pick because I was almost 100% certain you were going to take Jalen Walker. So, with him falling down one pick, I'm going to have the Cardinals selecting, who originally selected Walter Nolan. Don't hate Walter Nolan at all.
Not at all.
Had a great flash. He missed a lot of the season, but when he was playing, he was a good player. But with a guy like Jalen Walker on the board, you can't pass up on an athlete like that who is great as an edge rusher. He's going to get you 10 sacks. I think he is for sure a 10-sack guy. You just need to add juice to that D-line as a Cardinals team. I know you just paid sweat a ton of money, but opposite of him, you really don't have much working for you. So, again, adding a guy like Jalen Walker to that line gets juicy.
Yeah, I love that pick. You know, I'm a huge Jalen Walker guy.
That's why I'm surprised you didn't pick him for the Falcons.
I think it's because Xavier Watts is already
really
there.
good.
And it's just, I really like the fit there. He fits Ulbricht's defense. I think it meshes very well. So it was the easy pick for me. But moving on. Oh, but I do like the Jalen Walker pick for sure. 17, Cincinnati Bengals. There are only two options here for me: O-line or defense. I think there's a certain defender that is better than all the other options for defense or O-line. I'm going to have Jahad Campbell go to the Bengals. You have your captain on the defensive side for years to come and a magnificent talent on defense. It sucks that my team has to face him twice a year because he is an athletic freak out there on the field. I think he can significantly flip Cincinnati's defense for years to come.
You didn't want to stick with Shamar Stewart?
Nope, not one bit.
Yeah, no, I knew that pick was going to come, that you were going to switch that 100%. I mean, it is the right pick that they should be switched. Why am I blanking on who you just picked? Jahad Campbell.
Yeah.
Great pick. Really showed flashes for the Eagles with I would say he didn't play as much as he should have played.
No, I mean, there's already a lot of talent in that room specifically, so I don't necessarily hate them kind of easing him along, but I mean, the upside is crazy for Jahad Campbell. It's insane.
The slide of Mason Graham continues.
Yeah.
And it's going to continue. Moving on to number 18, the Seattle Seahawks originally took Gray Zabel. Great pick.
Yeah.
Do you really mess that up? I mean,
went all the way to the Super Bowl,
It took them all the way to the Super Bowl, but I think there was a player that was even more beneficial to that team that really made them go to the Super Bowl and really had a great game during the Super Bowl. Nothing against Gray Zabel. He also had a good game. But Nick Emanwari, I don't think you can pass up on a talent like that. You have him in your building already. You got lucky that he fell to the second round the first time. The second time around, you're not taking that chance. You got to take him at 18. He's too beneficial to that defense.
Yeah, and honestly, that's the pick I would have gone as well. That's a great pick. Already in the system, fits well in the system. Was a huge game changer for them. That's a great pick. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Again, hindsight's 2020. Based on this year, I think they could use help interiorly in the O-line. We're making Gray Zabel slide just one spot. Gray Zabel goes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers here at 19. Obviously, Emeka Egbuka, you had a home run there. He goes in the top 10. Let's still bolster that offensive side of the ball and get an absolute unit interiorly for your O-line. I think Gray Zabel's a massive hit here for Tampa.
Yeah, no, that's a great pick. Again, you miss out on Emeka Egbuka, who is already way gone at this point.
He's already partying in his after party by this point in the actual draft night.
But, now fill in that void with Zabel where they had a ton of injuries this year. Again, talking about the hindsight. I wish you could have known that before the season that all these injuries were going to happen for you guys, but Gray Zabel would have been a plug-and-play player for them first day. Moving on to number 20, the Denver Broncos originally took Jahdae Barron. Kind of had a rough first year. I think it just took him a little while to get used to how the NFL game was played. I'm going to take a little bit of a shot here with this one. I'm going to have the Denver Broncos selecting Ashton Jeanty.
I don't hate that.
There was a lot of talk pre-draft about the Broncos being the team that were going to get Jeanty before there was talks of him going within the top 10. I just think with people that were on the board, obviously, to me, the best player on the board right now was Mason Graham or Walter Nolan. They don't need them. They legitimately do not need those guys because they already have pieces in place at those positions. If you would have added an Ashton Jeanty to that offense, man, they would have beaten the Patriots with Jarrett Stidham easily. It just, you were relying too much on a RJ Harvey game. And as good as RJ Harvey was for them this year, I think Ashton Jeanty just has more juice and is a better running back. Maybe not as a receiving threat, but for the Denver team that just wanted to establish the run, I think you putting in a better running back in that position, they may be able to take it a game farther and go to the Super Bowl. That's where I'm switching my pick to. Again, Jahdae Barron had a good season. I just don't think if they had to redo it, I don't think they would go the same route.
Yeah, no, I love the pick here. I definitely see. I think his odds of succeeding here are way, way higher than what it was.
Putting him behind an offensive line like that.
Yeah. Steelers at 21.
They went Derek Harmon.
Yeah, they did, and I definitely want to stay D-line. It's just, do I want to go Derek Harmon? Do I want to go Walter Nolan? I think regardless of those two, I would be happy with either one. I think I'm giving the slight edge to Walter Nolan just because I think he has slightly the higher upside, and I think he moves a little better. Again, I think either one of those picks, though, would be the right pick here at 21 for them.
No, I like it a lot. Walter Nolan probably out of those guys have the highest upside.
Yeah.
Just the freak ability of strength and athleticism. It was just, he played half the year. And in the half the year that he did play, he looked like a stud. That'd be a great pick for the Steelers instead of taking Derek Harmon. Moving on to number 22, the Chargers took Omarion Hampton. I'm going to have them transition a little bit. I'm going to have them take Mason Graham. Mason Graham was the 5th overall pick in the real draft. Slides all the way down to number 22. I mean, he's just too good to pass up at this point. For a Chargers team that I wouldn't say defensive tackle is a massive need, but if you can replace your interior guys that you have currently on that roster with a Mason Graham, it just makes the team better. And I think at that point, it's just BPA. Yeah. And I think that's how Jim Harbaugh is the type of coach that will do that stuff and just pick the best player available. Do I think Omarion Hampton was the best player available when they picked him that night? I don't know, but I really don't think he's going number 22, especially because he missed time last year. And again, hindsight's 2020. Knowing that he was going to get injured, you can't really take a running back in the first round.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think this is good value here. Like, you got a guy that got drafted in the top 5, fall all the way to 22. Can't really blame me for that. At 23, we have the Green Bay Packers. I'll be honest, I'm really stuck here.
Matthew Golden. You're not going back to Matthew Golden?
I'm not going back to Matthew Golden. It's not because I don't think he's talented. I just think they misutilized him a lot of times. And maybe part of it was
Did he score a touchdown? Did he finally get one?
I can't remember. I think he got one really late in the year.
But it was a while.
Yeah, no, he got one it was either literally the final 2 weeks or in the playoffs. I cannot. It may have been the playoff game now that I'm thinking.
It was either the playoff game or the last game of the season.
Something like that.
But if you do need help here, I have a name for you, and I think you'd be really mad about the name that I'm going to help you.
Okay, look. Obviously, Trey Amos is popping in my mind. It's I absolutely, he's on the board for me. I'm just trying to see if there's anyone that I think value-wise holds more weight.
So that he can fall to 29.
No, I mean, regardless, if anything, I would love the guy that my team drafted in the second round to go as high as possible because that just means my GM knows what he's doing in the second round. For once, I get a GM that knows what he's doing in the second round. Don't look at his previous second round picks from last year.
Oh, was that Ben Sinnott?
Ben Sinnott, Jason Newton, and Mikey Sanders still. Mikey still has hope. It didn't look.
Jason Newton looked good.
The final few weeks.
They just hate Ben Sinnott over there.
I don't hate Ben Sinnott. It's just we're talking too much about Ben Sinnott.
I'm trying to buy you time. Come on.
Man.
They just hate Ben Sinnott? But who cares about the Commanders? It's the Packers.
Yeah, it's the Packers time right now.
I'll talk a little bit while you're looking for a second.
No, I think I know. I'm gonna give them Trey Amos.
Yeah,
I was a true. Why can I not speak? I'm that high on Trey Amos.
I was too.
I was a huge Trey Amos guy before the draft, and then throughout the season exceeded my expectations. Mm-hmm. It sucks that he got hurt because during that horrible defensive run that we had for the entire season before he got hurt, he truly was the only bright spot in a lot of moments in a lot of games. He was phenomenal, and even during training camp, like there was a lot of reports, like I don't know, like there's this guy training might actually be something. Turns out the insiders were right. I'm gonna go with Trey Amos here, 23 to the Packers.
That 100% would have been my pick as well. Moving on to their divisional rival, the Minnesota Vikings select Donovan Jackson in the first round. Great player. The only problem is you got Tyler Booker on the board still, and were we big Tyler Booker fans before this draft process or the whole draft happened?
Yes.
Getting a guy that we thought should have been a top 10 pick fall all the way down to number 24 to you, it's just a guard. It's the guard value that it sucks. There are really good players that are guards, but even if you are, your value's just tanked because you're a guard. And even though there's a guy like Will Campbell that's going in the top 10 who we both think is a guard, played tackle this whole season and held his own for the most part until it came to the crucial parts of the season.
Yeah.
But no, Tyler Booker to the Vikings would be a home run. Nothing against Donovan Jackson. He's a good player as well. Just Tyler Booker has the edge over him. I think Vikings fans would be super happy.
Yeah, no,
if
I
they were
think
able to
this
do
is
that.
a home run hit. Such great value. A guy that I think kind of like we used to only fell this far because one, a lot of the talent ahead of him, and two, because you're a guard, it's not necessarily seen as a luxury position, a luxury pick. But don't get me wrong, Tyler Booker's an absolute stud. I hated it on draft night when he got selected by Dallas because I think so highly of him. So this is a great
We
pick.
both called it too.
Yeah,
that
if he
was our last
falls
mock
to-
draft.
If he falls to 12, he's going there. It was a great pick by them. It's a great pick here by Minnesota in our redraft. 20, the numbers are too small. Is that 25? 25,
Giants, yep.
the New York Giants.
This was the Jackson Dart pick.
Yep, it was. I had him going 7 to the New York Jets. I absolutely want to go offense here, specifically O-line. Let me just quickly see if there's any receivers that I think would be worthy of jumping into offensive lineman, because I do have a specific offensive lineman in mind right now, and there is not. So let me see. Okay, there's one guy that I would definitely want to take. Let me check.
I'm surprised you're going to go offense here.
Really? All right. I'm still going to go offense here because I have my top 2 guys. But where would you go, just out of curiosity?
Just based off of what they made their picks, and I know we're not going to just necessarily be like, oh, they took an edge rusher at 3. We didn't have them take an edge rusher at 3, so we got to take them an edge rusher here. But I think the guy that has the best value on the board at this current point, based off of how he played last year, is Donovan Ezeraku.
Okay. I don't hate that pick. I'm going to be honest, there are 2 other guys that, again, not flashy positions, but I think I would take over Ezeraku, and it's Josh Simmons and Donovan Jackson. Both Ohio State guys.
Yeah, I don't hate those either. Me personally, you know how high I was on Josh Simmons. That'd probably be my pick. But
I'm going to be honest, I'm going to go with Donovan Jackson only because...
I said Josh Simmons.
No. Only because... Well, I'm also considering... Did they ever come out with what that whole scenario was in the middle of the season with Josh Simmons was? I just
There's baggage. That's a good point.
I just really... I'm not weighing that too... I'm not weighing that too heavy in my decision,
Because
but it's definitely there.
The on the field was good.
Yeah. I'm not going to weigh that too heavy in this decision, but it's definitely there.
Yeah.
I
And
just
again,
think the consistency of Donovan Jackson and
the luxury of hindsight, knowing that he missed games this last year.
absolutely, I think I'm going to go Donovan Jackson here to the Giants at 25. I think that's a great pick. You desperately need help on O-line. I think Donovan Jackson could be a huge puzzle into rebuilding that offensive line to what you want it to be.
Well, this makes it even easier for me at number 26. The Falcons, the surprise of the night, trading back into the first round to double up at edge rusher. We had Xavier Watts going at number 15. Was kind of shocked you made that pick and thought you'd go Jalen Walker. But lucky for them, they have a guy that I was just talking about fall right into their lap, and Donovan Ezeraku. You're welcome. Like, you lose out on Jalen Walker, but you're securing Xavier Watts, and now you're getting a guy who also really showed a lot of flashes last year in Ezeraku. Be a good little draft haul for the Falcons. Although, good luck this year because you don't have a first. And the guy that you used that pick to trade up for may never touch the football field again.
I think he will, based on of the NFL's consistency of Lynn, people who should not be playing in the NFL play in the NFL.
That's fair.
But yeah, awful thing.
We do not think he should, though. Not saying that at all.
Yeah, I agree there. No, I think it's a solid pick. Didn't Izaraku get in trouble? Not nearly as bad as he like ran from police or something. And please Google this, because if I'm making this up, I sincerely apologize. But I think it was. I think I remember hearing something again.
Recently?
Not nearly. Yes, this offseason. Again, not nearly as bad as James Pierce, but correct me if I'm wrong. I think I remember something with law enforcement. Izaraku.
My iPad is freezing up really bad. Oh, there we go.
Look up like Izaraku controversy or police, something like that. Because if I'm wrong, we need to edit this out, and I apologize for misstating something that may not be true.
Donovan Izaraku arrested.
Yeah, what was it for again?
Reckless driving.
Something I knew.
Okay.
I knew it had something to do with the car. Again, not nearly as bad as James Pierce.
Nowhere near.
Nowhere near.
He was speeding.
Yes.
He didn't beat up his WNBA.
Yeah, okay,
girlfriend.
enough of that. Moving on. Baltimore, 27. I'm going to keep this plain and simple. I'm going to have them keep their pick with Malachi Starks. I was a huge Malachi Starks guy. I still am. I thought he had a terrific rookie year. I'm going to keep that pick here at 27.
Fair. No, that's a good pick. I did my own. I had Watts falling down to this pick. And funny enough, I had Starks going the pick before to the Falcons. So I do like that pick a lot. They get the guy that they originally drafted, who's a really good player. Moving on to number 28, we got the Detroit Lions. They originally selected Tyleik Williams. I think they overreached on him just a slight bit. I still think he's a good player, but with Derek Harmon on the board, I think that he is the better defensive tackle. Gets more push in the pass game. A little bit of a better run stopper as well. He's just a better player. That'd be a great pick for the Lions if they had to redo this thing.
Yeah, I like this pick here. You stay in the same position, and I think you get the guy that had the better rookie year.
Yeah.
So for sure, I like that. 29, Washington.
What you gonna do?
Please forgive me because I am taking this one very seriously, and I want to weigh out all options.
So I'll just say this while you're still searching
Sure.
a little bit. Like I just mentioned, did my own before we did ours right now, just to get a sense of the people that I was taking. I took Quinshon Judkins.
Yeah, which I don't hate as a prospect, and I said this before the draft. I said this after the Connerly pick, which I liked. I liked the Connerly pick. I still like Josh Connerly, but my whole thing was adjust the defense. I'm gonna see if that's an option here now, and if there's not, I'll readjust. If only James Pierce did not get in trouble, because
He'd have been gone way longer.
he would. But then that means I will have backed at least one other guy back to 29. There's no edge rushers I'm willing to take.
This is what I was talking to you about. That there's just it
Oh,
kind of
man.
dries up at this point,
Yeah.
and you just kind of gotta take the guy you like the most, which is
Yeah.
why I took Quinshon.
Kane Madrano, no.
Deion Walker.
I mean, it's consideration. I mean, Jahdae Barron would not be a bad pick. It's just, do I want him here at 29?
And do you want another nickel corner?
Benjamin Morrison's not bad either. Again, is that like do I want him here at 29? Good.
He's not even the best corner on the board. Neither of them are.
Let me see.
Noel Williams.
He's solid. Makuba's not bad either. I'm gonna be honest with you. We might have to go offense here. Wait, no, never mind.
There's nothing there.
If only Mike Hill didn't get hurt. Because even if he had a decent year, I probably would have taken him just based on upside.
You could go Omarion or Travion
I could.
or Quinshon.
I could. Let me just do a few
You
more
could
minutes.
go.
I mean,
This
like
is the
Luther
ballsy
Bird
pick.
and Jaden Hud.
The best
Jaden
player,
Higgins.
in my opinion, still on. No, that's not true at all. I was gonna say something crazy. He's definitely within the top 5 still on the board, though. Fannin.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
Harold Fannin might be.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna go with Harold Fannin here. Am I going to get Commanders fans coming at me spewing hate? Probably. That's the nature of this fan base, unfortunately. Just based on the talent that's available right now, I think, higher of Harold Fannin than all the other
You
guys.
could have taken Josh Simmons.
Yeah, but I mean,
Harold
O-line,
Fannon's really good.
he is in O-line. And again, Josh Connolly was a part of what I'm about to say. O-line was one of our bigger strengths this year. And I think either with Connolly or without Connolly, it would have been, I still think it would have been one of the strengths. Probably not as strong without him, but I still think it wouldn't have been as much as an issue as like tight end is or just weapons in general for Jaden. So I'm going to go Harold Fannin here.
Yeah. No,
Again, very thin options here at 29.
yeah, no, I don't hate that pick in the slightest. Is it a little bit of a head scratcher for fans that don't really? They're like, we got Zach Ertz already, so what?
Again, but hindsight,
Yeah,
hindsight blew his Achilles in half. Not
was his
Achilles,
knee.
ACL.
Yeah.
Did you see he's trying to come back for like a 14?
yeah.
Praying for
Just-
you, dude, but
Just
man,
just call it
looked
a
rough.
day.
Yeah.
You had a great run.
You're a Hall of
You had
Famer.
a great run.
You are a Hall of Famer.
All right,
Right off into the sunset, bro.
moving on to number 30 is the Buffalo Bills. We took Maxwell Hairston originally. I'm stuck between two guys here. It is going to be the receiver position. I don't hate Maxwell Hairston whatsoever. I thought he was a good pick, and he was a good pick. He was just injured way too frequently for my liking to pick him again at number 30. And those two receivers that I'm picking between are going to be Luther Burden and Jaden Higgins.
Two good picks.
Jaden Higgins had an outstanding season for the Texans. For what they drafted him to be, I think he exceeded expectations. I think exceeded everybody's expectations. Now, does he have a Nico Collins there to help kind of alleviate some of the pressure that he is facing and dealing with? 100%. Luther Burden, same kind of boat. You got Rome Odunze, and you've got DJ Moore in front of you to kind of clear up some of that pressure. Even Olamide Zaccheaus played good for them this year. And
Yeah.
not he mentioned the other guy that you drafted in the first round in Colston Loveland. With that being said, stylistically, and I know this may shock a lot of fans for the Bills, I'm taking Jaden Higgins. We need that X receiver. Jaden Higgins has the body type to be that X receiver for us. I love his hands. I love his ability to get open and create separation, which is what we are lacking very much so in the receiving core. Maybe this means we don't have to throw screens every two plays. You got a receiver that can actually be a downfield threat and a guy that can box out players to make plays.
Yeah, no, that's a great pick. I'm a big Jaden Higgins guy. I think he comes in and automatically fights to be your wide receiver one, if not is the wide receiver one.
That's what I would hope.
Yeah, and there's upside there, a lot of upside there. So.
And again, I wanted to go Burden as well. I'm a big fan of Burden. I just think it would be kind of redundant with already having Shakir in place. I think Higgins is the receiver that we're lacking in
yeah,
with the players we have on the team.
for sure. No, I like that pick. 31, we have the Philadelphia Eagles. They traded up one spot to get Jahad Campbell. Jahad Campbell, long gone. He's already drinking his after party right now. I want to give the Eagles a corner because I know they could really use some corner help, and there is a guy that comes to mind. I'm going to have Noel Williams go to the Eagles here at 30. Showed a lot of flashes. Showed he could be sticky. Showed he could be great in zone. I think this is a great pick for Philly. Of course, again, Howie Roseman doing some voodoo magic again. A great talent at the position he's at.
Speaking of Noel Williams, shout out to our video from last year of hidden gems that we were talking about in
Yeah.
the draft. Those videos will be coming out in the next couple weeks probably for this upcoming year. Noel Williams was a player on there. Bashul Tootin was a player on there.
I can't.
Kyle
remember.
Williams was a player on there. He didn't get much play as he should have in New England, but when he got his play, he was playing really well. We are draft guys, so we want to give as much information out there as we can about guys that maybe aren't getting as much love as they should be. Noel Williams to me was one of those guys. I love this pick for the Eagles. Funny enough, they jumped the Chiefs to take the player that they ended up taking later in the draft. So with that being said, you're moving on to number 32, the Kansas City Chiefs. Just got one of their best players from their draft taken from them. So you're kind of sitting there wondering what you're going to do.
Shador. The shit difference maker.
Shador. Yep. No, that you took the words right out of my mouth. They're gonna take Shador Sanders.
Yeah.
No.
Who needs Mahomes when you have the shit difference maker?
100%. Man, you made this kind of tough for me because I was gonna have them take Noel Williams.
To be fair, their original first round pick is still there.
He is, and he wasn't a bad player in Josh Simmons.
Not at all.
I'm just doing one more double check to
All
make
good.
sure because I was literally gonna take Noel
GMs
Williams.
have 10 minutes. You could give us 5.
You can give us a minute, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I just think it makes too much sense. You did not really you didn't really have anything outside of when Josh Simmons missed those 4 games or however many games it was for them, they struggled bad.
Yeah.
You got to keep it in place. Keep that offensive line how it was, even though it wasn't great. He was a bright spot on that line, and it's always nice to get linemen that can actually play offensive line.
Yeah. No, safe pick, solid pick. I think Chiefs fans would be happy to keep the pick here. As I don't know about you, but at least for me, it always brings me joy and happiness when I do a redraft or I see someone else do a redraft and I see the team that I support, whoever we took in the first round, either that player goes ahead of where we picked him or is the pick, stays the pick, because that means our GM did their job correctly.
Yeah.
So kudos to the Chiefs. You still stick with your guy there.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't know if you're able to still see who is available left on the board.
Yes.
You are. Is there any surprises that after doing this redraft, you're like, wow, I did not think they would fall out of the first round necessarily?
From when the draft originally happened?
I think both, even like now, because just for example, like Omarion Hampton, we didn't select in the first round. He dealt with the injury and stuff, but you would think a talent like him, we would find some sort of way to squeeze him in the first round, and we just didn't. We just thought there was a lot better talent there that fit certain teams.
Yeah. No, there are 5 guys on that I'm looking at right now that if you were to tell me pre-draft before last year's draft happened, and then we were going to like do this
You know what?
year,
I like that approach better.
and be like, wow, that dude really wasn't a first round
I like
pick.
that approach better, actually.
It's Micah Williams.
Yeah,
I
but
thought
to be
was a
fair,
stud
injuries a huge one, but I agree. Absolutely.
Micah Williams, I don't care. If you would have told me he got injured in the first 2 games, I'd have been like, I'm sure he looked really good in those first 2 games.
Which didn't look bad, but didn't look great either.
I think it just hurt him not being able to play with Nick Bosa.
Yeah, for sure.
Secondly, Jahdae Barron. I was a ginormous Jahdae Barron fan. Just didn't really get that many opportunities in Denver, and he struggled at times. Mike Green was another guy. I was a big fan of Mike Green.
I wanted us when who was before
especially
us.
pre-draft. Like there was all the stuff about him with the character concerns, and then it was just like they don't really care though because he's a stud.
Yeah, and no, it's absolutely crazy because I remember when I'm watching draft night. They say the pick is in for 29. Washington selected their pick.
Fully convinced it was him.
I don't know if I was convinced it was him, but I was praying it was him.
Yeah.
I was like, if we somehow just stole Mike Green from everyone, Adam Peters needs a statue built in front of the new stadium. Turns out we didn't select him, and maybe it's kind of a good thing because he was kind of quiet this year.
Yeah. And then to finish out those other couple guys, Matthew Golden, he was a pretty much consensus first-round pick.
Yeah, for sure.
Potentially, people were talking about him being the number 1 receiver on their boards. I know I had said that at one point. And then Shamar Stewart, for me, I was a bigger fan of Shamar Stewart. I know you weren't a fan of Shamar Stewart, but would you have been shocked that he wouldn't have gone in the first round?
Would I be... All right, I think those are 2 different questions. Would I be shocked...
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
If in the original draft he was a first-round pick? Yes. I did not have a first-round grade on him.
No,
I did not think he was a first-round talent.
Now,
I'm not surprised he's not in our first round.
There is one guy that post-draft, after we just did this, and with all the information we know that I'm surprised did not go in the first round, is Deion Walker. I think
and I considered him a few times.
He should be a first-round pick.
I considered him a few times in the later picks. There is just certain guys or certain positions I thought addressed needs more.
I also just think that there's so much of a concern with him, just because even though it didn't flare up this year as with the back injury. A back injury on a 6'7", 350-pound guy.
Yeah,
You're waiting for him to get hurt.
Yeah. And let's reverse it a bit. Is there a guy that is in the first round or got drafted higher in our redraft that you're surprised, like, wow, like this guy is really this high in our redraft?
Tyler Shuck. Like,
Yeah. Would you have selected him in the top 10 though?
Tyler Shuck?
Yeah.
In
the
this type of,
redraft?
yeah.
That's what, and I agree.
Oh, you're talking
like,
about like that I'm still surprised went that high?
like kind of like what we just did, that like if you were to show us this mock draft before the draft even happened
And
last
like,
year.
this is the best player.
Yes.
That you'd be shocked from? Yeah,
Yes.
Tyler Shuck.
Yeah. I agree with you. Like, I was not a Tyler Shuck guy before the draft.
All those other guys on there, other than no, because I mean, even if you would have told me Dart had a solid first year, I'd have been like, okay, I could see that.
I knew there would be flashes because like he does have
but
athleticism.
but just looking at the guys that went in the top 10, it's like, okay, all these guys really did go in the top 10, but just in different orders.
Yeah, I'm
maybe
surprised Abdul fell to 11.
maybe Swessinger
That
going up
one
as
too.
high as he
Yeah,
did.
for sure.
Watts maybe coming up as high as he did. I was a big
Yeah.
Eamon Worry guy, so I'm not
Honestly,
surprised.
I'm actually surprised Walker fell as much as he did because I was a huge Jalen Walker guy before the draft.
I mean, but he also only went one pick after that.
Sure, but I would have swore he would have been a top 5, top 10 pick.
And I think the easiest answer out of all these guys, to be completely honest, maybe two. Ashton Genty.
Yeah, that's
Ashton
a great
Genty
one.
was going to be a top 5 pick going into that draft.
Yeah.
Falling all the way down to 20. And then another guy that was going to be a top 5 pick, who was a top 5 pick, Mason Graham, falling all the way down to number 22.
Yeah.
But
yeah, no, I think
other
those
than
are all
that,
great ansers.
I'm a little surprised Noel Williams ended up being a
I was
first-round
thinking
pick,
him as well. Yeah.
but not really because I thought he was really good.
yeah.
Jaden Higgins, maybe?
But I thought he was a
he was
second
also-
round talent.
He was
so,
like the first or the second pick in the second round.
that's what I'm saying. So if you were to tell me like he's a late first round guy, I'd be like,
He
okay.
went like
Okay.
4 picks
Yeah,
earlier
for
than when
sure.
he actually did. But no, this was fun. I always like doing these just to see
Yeah.
what we're kind of thinking. Football's over, so this kind of brings us back to the season a little bit,
Yeah.
reflecting on how all these rookies played and getting us more excited for the upcoming draft. We're only like a week away from
Like
free agency.
and
The combine
tomorrow's
starts
the
tomorrow. Yeah.
combine. If you work with me and just so happen to be watching this for whatever reason,
He's not going to be
at
watching it.
3:00, let me do my work in peace because I will also be paying attention to my phone and watching some guys run some 40-yard dashes. So
It's a D line, right?
apologies. D-line and linebackers, I believe, is tomorrow at 3:00. So
I just hope that some of the guys that are actually good do their stuff.
I don't know how you usually do it, but the way I've done it the last 2 or 3 years is I'll watch the combine. Whoever I think shows a lot of promise athletically, I'll write their name down, and then once the combine's over, I have a new list of guys
To
watch.
or rewatch. Yeah.
Yeah. So
No, I'm pretty similar.
well, I had fun doing this.
Yeah.
We hope you guys enjoyed watching this. Is there anything you want to say before we close this out?
What picks do we miss? What picks would
Yeah.
you have made? What should Tyler Shuck have been the first quarterback off the board? That'll be a
Outside
debate.
of Cam Ward. Cam Ward is still
I mean, but that was
the
just
first
yeah.
overall
No,
pick.
I'm sorry. No disrespect to Cam Ward. Obviously, we both
Who should have gone first? Tyler Shuck
or
Jackson Dart? Let us know in the comments. Thank you guys for watching. We really appreciate it. Make sure you like and subscribe to the video. Share it as well. Again, comment what we got right, what we got wrong. Who should have gone first, Tyler Shuck or Jackson Dart? Make sure you like, subscribe, share the video. I'm pretty sure I already said that. Follow us on TikTok and Twitter.
You should do it though.
Podcast.
For real though.
You should do it, and we will see you next time.
See ya.